Hello, hello, and welcome. It's the 12th of July today. We just get a bit more squared up in here. Um, and incredible energies. No sleep for me. Cracking great storm here. And just the most powerful energies coming through. So I got maybe 5 or 6 days worth of notes, and so I will read them to you. There's a little bit of repetition, but I think that's okay because we need to be reminded. And yeah, some interesting coming through of codes which happened this morning. So that will be at the end because I'm going to do it in, hello, Becca. I'm going to do it in some sort of chronological order. So just excuse me while I find the notes. Oh yeah, just rearrange yourselves. Notes. Here they are. Okay. So this is notes from the 6th of July until today. And so on the 6th of July, Gaia was showing me that we were having equal purification and diamond light coming in the energy on that day. So it was showing us coming in and moving out, and yet they were meeting in the center. So imagine the energy was streaming up towards this horizontal surface and energy streaming down. So that was streaming down from the heavens and up from the earth and meeting in the center. So they were having an effect on one another. But the analogy was interesting because Gaia was patiently awaiting, and she said, what she knows is coming. And the analogy reminded me of this being at a wedding when you know that you are waiting for the bridal car to arrive or the bride to arrive, and you know the bride is coming, and sometimes you don't know exactly when, but there's a sense of knowing that they are coming, and that was the energy that Gaia was holding on that day. So pretty simple and short message. Then on the 7th, these energies were showing up in more of a sweeping motion, so in and out with a V curve on the bottom, very white, very crystalline looking, very fast and cleansing. And Gaia said that these energies are strong and clear and very direct. And one of the important points of the energies that started coming in then is that she said they cannot be avoided and will bring about rapid transformation during this time, as she had mentioned to us before, that from the 1st of July to the Lion's Gate and around the 15th of August, the energies of the Lion's Gate coming through to then, that there will be this acceleration, this rapid transformation regarding this crystallization effect on our body. So we're going to have mind and mental upgrades, this general rising or raising of consciousness on the planet, a falling into expanded heart and deeper love, divine partnerships coming into merging pathways. So that was another alignment, this greater appreciation of self and of the earth, this enhanced recognition of cycles and rhythms and how these show up in one's own life and in that of nature. That more people will begin to see and have visibility of and with the elementals, the fairies, the plant divas, the crystal divas, the gnomes, and increased communication with these beings. They have and hold such knowledge, such wisdom, such beauty, that the crystal nature of our earth, the crystal caves and the crystal rocks are becoming more enhanced. Their frequency is being increased. They are creating greater emissions, affecting the clarity and the presence and the fields that are all around us. The crown chakra receiving greater activation, a lot of transmutation focus, but Gaia says it's happening at breakneck speed, and those of us who are attuned to the energies can feel that. Hearts are opening wide, especially in the masculine, as they are becoming open and expansive and vulnerable. And now they are exploring how to feel into this capacity and to name and know and explore and get comfortable with these feelings that they haven't felt in their physical form for some time. Also, during that time, or in this past week, there's been a lot of internal heat in the body, and Gaia said this has been creating this gateway that connects the heart to the throat. So that was happening on that day. And then Gaia gave this imagery. So think Statue of Liberty, both arms raised skywards, receiving into the hands and arms, down into the heart, and then down into the water, into the emotional body of Earth and humanity. As humanity explores more, we're exploring more of who we are, this truth, this love, connection, unity, harmony, peace, and ease, and all of this registering thought through the expression of the heart being connected up through to the higher heart and throat. It's very exciting that we're moving into this greater expression of our own internal being and being able to communicate that to others. It has, a lot of beauty, I want to say. Also, we are witnessing what is going on in the body. So there's been a lot going on in the body. We've had up leveling and transformation in all of our main centers and our energy vortexes, in our organs, in our spine, in our fluids, in our blood. We've had and been watching things going on in our skies. We've been watching more beautiful lights and colours and rainbows and Aurea Borealis, these amazing, incredible colours. We've been watching very crystalline looking imagery in the waters, amazing lights in the sky that are, it's hard to know where they're coming from, but they have this luminescence to them. We've been getting our blueprints upgraded, and we are returning to our original states and codes bit by bit, incrementally, one little bit at a time, but faster and faster and faster and faster. And then on the 8th of July, I was showing this conscious streaming continuously in and out, and that we are to become in flow with the breath. There's so much focus and concentration really on just being within, on being with self, this in and out through the flow of the breath, to be being present with that. Don't project or predict into the future, to come into the multi-dimensional embodiment of yourself, to hold your highest frequency focused in the heart, and then to allow this to radiate out like a sparkling gem. Guys suggested that we see rain as consciousness, and that we see consciousness as rain, and use this analogy. On that day, she was standing in the center of the earth as this conductor, and she was showing movement through the infinity symbols. So she was doing this with her hands, and these infinity symbols were being drawn in all directions, all planes, and she was weaving these into this multi-dimensional spinning ball. And then we were showing the marathon. I've lost my cursor onto another screen. It's always a problem. Hold on. No, I've gone too far. Okay, now I'm back. That if you've crossed the finish line, if you feel you've moved into having another ascension moment, there are still more of those to come, likely. And we're going through these incrementally. And she is saying, if you've crossed the finish line, please join the crowd to be part of the clapping and cheering on of the others as they come through. So yesterday, no, the day before I posted this, so I'll read it to you. So these were notes from Gaia that came through on the 10th of July with a heading, how are you managing these energies? This purity of light now beyond 50% and rocketing skywards in more ways than one. As this light and this energy rolls humanity into greater awakening and greater ascension. Gaia says, hold your morphogenetic field clearly and strongly for self and the planet. Hold your energy systems, your sovereignty, and be in your own empowerment. Keep up with embodying and the embodiment of your multidimensional self. So keep calling them in. I call in all the aspects of my multidimensional selves back through time, space, and dimensions, those that are ready to come in here to be housed in my body. I call them in, I call them in, I call them in, and I ask them to go to the perfect places and ask for them to be reconnected and reactivated. Also, we're doing a lot of that in our body and through our spine and in our spinal fluid, in our cells. Gaia says, light bearers, you are holding such an infusion of higher codes and frequencies now. Please maintain this as illusions are dispelled and truths are revealed on all platforms. And we've been watching that, haven't we? We have seen things collapsing in terms of government. We've seen things showing up in terms of lights in the skies. We've seen things happening in terms of the matrix. There's more of these false illusions revealing the truth. These patterns they have been already dissolved in the higher realms, in the dissolution in the matrix. It's clearly showing up in the physical now. And always Gaia has said that we'll have this economic collapse as well as our governmental shift, and in the medical, pharmaceutical, health area. So you will notice in your own country, if you look around, you'll see that there are actions happening in that regard. Shortages of staff, a changing in focus, a rearrangement of the wording of things, many beings resigning, etc. And she says, smile, hold space, and rest up. So we are headed to the biggest supermoon of the year on July the 13th or 14th, if you're in the southern hemisphere. So this full moon in the sign of Cancer and Capricorn, and it invites us to let go, to surrender, to look at ourselves in terms of where we are stretched in our yes and no, in our polarity, in our exploration really of things to do in our emotional world, our material world, and what we need or don't need to feel secure, to feel held, and to examine that. That's what this full moon invites us to do, to examine that and to let go of what doesn't serve us. Also, I want to say to you to begin to notice your changing surroundings, because we are really coming into our fifth dimensional reality. We're moving into it more and more. To expect 3 days of this big influx of energies around this full moon, as these waves, they showed up to me as they kind of come crashing in as we move closer to the Lion's Gate. And we may have several of these 3-day waves. Yesterday felt incredibly intense for me. Well, the advice came through for all of us was to rest, go easy, surrender, hydrate, spend time in nature, get grounded, sleep when you can, let go of all that doesn't serve, and anything that is not urgent. Honestly, when you feel into what we're experiencing right now, there's just no way that you can deny that we're in the midst of this massive change, this movement through to our new time and space and dimension, and in terms of ourselves and the community and the world, and who um, who knows the order of all of this, but we are feeling this knowing of it being close, to breathe through this time, to be present. Yesterday, I got this imagery of envisioning sitting cross-legged in the eye of the storm. So each of us claiming our own space, taking care of self and our own energetic bodies as things change around us. And each of us, I was showing that each of us may have our own ascension point or our own ascension moment. So just to be aware of that. And I have to tell you that yesterday, I think around 1 a.m., um, I had this moment where I felt like I popped through this kind of point. It was like I felt it like this click, or this this little movement. I felt as though I kind of like moved through the veil of a dimension. I don't know whether that's true that I did that or not, but that was my sort of impression of it. And then today, this cracking wild storm through the night, I didn't sleep. I had this, yeah, this incredible storm, but it felt wild and exciting. It felt like it was bringing in a lot of electrical energies, and I was showing this, and so to me, this is super exciting. I was showing that the sacred Lemurian codes are being returned and contracts being aligned at this time. I was in the cave of Gaia with my beloved from Lemurian times, and we were very large because the size of my face here was the size of my forehead in the experience. So I was showing this spiral on the forehead of each of us. So we were sitting cross-legged and facing one another, and we were in Gaia's cave. And Gaia was witnessing this and speaking to us. So this sage green color, the spiral, and each of us had it. The tail from the center went upwards vertically, and the tail from the outside downwards. And so this was all on the forehead. So we've shown as those very large beings, and I was showing that, yeah, these ancient, well, we were there in our ancient Lemurian partnership in the center of the earth, and the earth opened up, and we were bathed in this light. And what came through about it was that this ancient partnership was being honored for what it was and what it held. And in my beingness there in the center of the earth this morning, it brought me into deep tears of recognition of this very sacred and very reverent partnership. And then this idea that somehow we, and we were there this morning being representative of many, but that somehow we were deposed or interfered with at that time. And so today there was that aspect, but these ancient Lemurian sacred seed codes coming in. And Sarah Adams messaged me this morning, and said, what's happening for you? And when I told her about that, she said that that totally corresponded with what she was feeling as well. She was feeling that people are linking into their crystalline heart network, this blueprint of unity, that we're coming into this being devoted to unity in our world. And she was wanting to create mandalas with people and crystals. This whole idea of she was feeling very drawn to gather people as though we are, coming into this, she called it a triangulation between and amongst hearts, connecting back to source. So as though we're planting seeds. So that kind of fitted in. And so, yeah, it felt like it was this ancient partnership to me, and that we were being recognized. Yeah, see, I even feel it as I'm saying it now, for what it was and what is held, and that it's sacred and reverent. It's the Lemurian sacred seed codes. Um, and I'm told that the next thing we're doing is we're heading back to the Adam Cadman codes and the rewriting, WRITING, and the rewriting, RIGHTING, of all of the ancient seed codes of creation. The blooming of the garden awaits. So those are the nights that have come through. I do need to put glasses on because I can't read your messages on my screen from back here. Oh, yes. Okay. So, hello, Becca. Hello, Misha. Hello, Mary Jo. Oh, 3 days off feels so aligned. Good on you, Mary Jo. Sweet CCNZ says definitely lots coming through. Travelled to Egypt in dream time and met some hippopotamus god. So strange because the park above me has hippopotamus toy in it, and all of this was connected. These connections, it's so true. Um, the linkings of people who are coming to see me as well. So there's sort of more quite, I have to say, unusual but amazing stuff coming in that's to do with codes. And I had a woman in my clinic last week, and I said to her, so she had come in, we'd identified that she had strong connections to the elementals, and everyone who comes in, there's very little of these things that I remember because otherwise I'd go nuts. They're way too much to be holding in my brain. But the thing that was so fascinating about what was going on for her is that when I looked inside her body, she was holding these codes, and they were made of gold. They were three-dimensional. They looked like written light language or ancient codes. And they were in vertical lines. They were inside her torso, her trunk. And I got shown that they were the creation codes that link into a strata of the elementals. And so she was carrying them. These sorts of things are showing up. In Omaru, there's a hippopotamus toy in the hotel there. Or that might be Omaru, actually, because that's Hawaii that Sweet CCNZ is in. The hippopotamus thing is like a land grid marker. For me, it linked NZ to Maui to Egypt. Interesting. I've not really come across the hippopotamus too much, so that'd be interesting to see if anybody else has an awareness of that. Or we're definitely coming back to being able to be in connection and communication with the animals. If you live in New Zealand, and if you don't, you could look up the sound of the tui. We have this bird in New Zealand called the tui, Tui. It has this white bearded couple of tufts on it, depending on whether it's a feminine or masculine. It has the most extraordinary sound. It sounds like a wood instrument, and they are often they're making their sound during the morning, but in the last few days they have been sounding all through the day. And yeah, so they have always, to me, been well, the birds are the messengers, but the tuis, to me, I've always felt as though they travel through the dimensional portals before the rest of us. It's like either they open it or they test it or they move in and out. And yeah, they have the most extraordinary sound. So you could Google that and listen to it. It's just beautiful and divine. Hello, Sidarius. And yeah, so honestly, I don't know if you heard me say how Gaia said to me the other day that this ascension moment is so close that it could kiss you on the cheek. If you didn't watch Sarah Adams and my little sort of conversation on Facebook or on my YouTube channel, it's on the community page. She knows some interesting things about galactic history that I don't know. And I think that what is beginning to happen now, and start to tune into this for you, is that we are returning. We're returning to our ancient selves, our ancient codes. We're returning to our more original permutations. We're having access to our experiences in many ways, in our past life or present or current or future life, because it's all in the quantum. We're being shown more of those. We've got greater access to those because some of the interfering factors have gone, and so it's easier for us to access the light. It's easier work. It's not so hard. We're not having to kind of be contending with these other things that are in the energy field. And everyone is beginning to have more of these experiences. This is also why we can speed up, why we can accelerate in our ascension, because there's less resistance. There are some very in your face things, events, activities occurring in our three-dimensional world. Just look at them and note them, and maybe make a note to self, no, not that, and then rise above it, because this frequency is the thing that's going to take us beyond that. So there is still some intrusion, inversion going on. Guy showed me it was as though there was a formula written for various stratas and various nature elements. So a formula, and the inversion or intrusion were things like a line being put through something, or one aspect of the formula being turned upside down. And so these are all being righted now. That's what happened in June, and now in this month of July, we're in this acceleration and in this revealing of the truth. So the veils, the truth from within self is coming up. We're able to see more clearly who we are and what we hold and what we know and what we might want to know. Some of these sort of structural internal frameworks showing up as well. And it's quite substantial. And yeah, so we're watching, aren't we? So we've watched the Georgia Guidestones be taken down. We've watched some other, I always forget the name of them, the pinnacle shape obelisks. Some of those have come down. And we've watched some government changes, resignations on quite big scales. We've watched things that it's challenging to know which angle they come from, but let's just move into trusting that everything is unfolding perfectly, and really tune into the energies of it, because these energies, they are vast and they hold excitement and they hold expansion. So there's a lot of expansion in the heart. There's a lot of this amazing, amazing energy in the heart that's kind of doing this to us, so we can feel more love. We're going to feel more love than we ever have in this lifetime, and probably in many others. What else is here? I'm blessed to be in constant contact with Gaia. This is Darius. She will do amazing acrobatic moves with birds for me. Oh, wow, how beautiful. And then, yes, Mary Jo from Vibrant Living, and she runs a retreat in Hanma Springs in the South Island. And she says, we have some tuis on our property. I think that's what she's referencing. And they are beautiful and, yes, sounding through the day. And it's new. It's not that they don't sound through the day, but it's just that they are doing lots of singing through the day. Ask Gaia to send you a certain creature and she will do it. Yeah, give that a go, everyone. That's a lovely idea. Our beloved ancestors are in those avatars. Yes, that definitely is one perspective of that. And we are in divine timing as consciousness. I know. And this is, I'll tell you what, the story of my life. This is the lesson of my life, to learn to be in divine timing, to learn to surrender, to let go, to hand it over. And I'm continually challenged by that, but I'm mastering it, or being in mastery of it. I definitely haven't got it nailed, but I'm definitely better at it. So yeah, thank you so much, everyone who is here. And I don't know, but it's been very, very interesting to see the quite magnificent, wondrous, exciting visions that people are capturing on their camera in terms of ships and lights and interesting shapes in our skies. I definitely saw a flash last night that could have been lightning, but it also could have been a flash because it was just one. It just went, came with no sound. So we had no thunder either, but there was like, and it wasn't lightning, but it was like cracking. It was the energy of that. And where nature is going to show us things, and certainly I took a couple of screenshots, and they're not off Facebook, of some images, and I might repost them on my Facebook page, but there's something like 8 images, and I can't tell you the original source. They're not mine, but there's 8 images taken from around the world of the most incredible colours in the sky, from purples to greens to golds. And this is what Gaia said to me a long time ago, that when we come into the beginning of our 5th dimensional world, that's would be one of the indicators, this Aurea Borealis in the skies. So the 4th dimension is becoming more transparent, or the veil is becoming thinner. Yes, I agree. The veil is almost not there. It's almost, well, it's quite translucent. So you can see, that's how I see it. It shows up like a very well stretched balloon. So you can see through it, but it's got some kind of edge or face or veil to it. And yeah, just feel the excitement, drop into this love of self. Just drop into loving yourself more and feeling into the experience of that. And yeah, have a magnificent rest of the day, and I'll drop back in when there's more to share. That was at 3:33 that I saw that. All right, much love from me and from the heart of Gaia. Bye.